Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds, the season, what did I call it? Post-mortem. And yeah, sorry, Leeds. Hope you're well, hun. That's the wrong button, shit. Oh, what a start.
No, it kind of to go on, bro.
It kind of worked. It kind of worked. A little tumbleweed joke about Leeds. I could release it. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. And yes, we have, as we broke on Twitter, a new signing. Contracted for 2 hours, 45k an hour. The infamous, the one and only Carl, who you should all know. I mean, like, probably the most famous Forest supporter in the world. Rob's looking at him like, who the fuck is this guy? Carl, how you doing, bro? Carl?
What was that? What's the question?
I said, how are you doing, bro? Like, that's
I'm
your cue.
I'm excited to be on with you guys. Obviously, I've been a long time viewer, listener. We've obviously been trying to get this to come off over the last year, and I've finally given in and come on.
Peer pressure. Peer pressure.
You build it up, and I just want to manage everyone's expectations. It might not be as good as you think it's going to be.
Chat, right?
Don't lower your expectations.
He always gives us abuse, right? And I want to see anything he says tonight that you don't agree with, right? Call him out on it, right? This is Mr. Opinion on Twitter, Mr. Keyboard Warrior himself, right? I want everything called out that he says that's just BS on here. Ant's, yeah, it's not the new Ant. It's not the new Ant. Don't worry. Ant's having the night off. Him and Carl don't really get on, so we can't have them. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Clash, yeah.
I'm joking.
Ant's still really upset that Arsenal didn't win the Premier League. So just give him a few months and he'll be all right.
Yeah, and then we were gonna do this live from the Man City parade as well, but we realized they actually have more charges than people at their actual parade, and we have more people in here than they have charges. So welcome everyone, right? So what we're going to do, you lot are going to hit that like button. You're going to hit subscribe if you're new. Today, we are going to do like a semi-season review, but not really, because we do it differently here. We're going to pick out like the best and worst moments for us this season. And you lot in the chat are going to play it along because it's, well, and then we'll talk about the transfer shit. Don't worry, that will come. I know you guys are only on here for that. And yes, let's shout out. Let's shout out to Sorry Mike. Welcome back to Southampton after Leeds yet again. Bottle Job FC in a bit. Leeds, enjoy the championship. Say hello to Derby. I was fully with our boys Saints. Spoke to Sorry Mike. I'm sure he's like proper drunk right now, but yeah, he was there. And yeah, Leeds fans, are you okay, hun? Are you okay? Okay, let's jump into this. Let's kick it off. Right, I think I want to give Rob a start here, right? Because Rob's got this like bottled up aggression that he's been holding on for a while now, Rob. And there's a few, and he's been telling me for like the last 3 weeks, when can I call out my receipts? When can I call out my receipts? Rob, cash in time, mate. What you got? I'm actually intrigued.
Well, what do you want me to do? Give the 4 things that you asked for, or the other thing?
Just start with the other thing. When have we ever stuck to any kind of script or plan here, mate?
Are you referring to the interview with our chairman that we were
No, I thought you was going to talk about some Luton shit. You've been literally begging me for weeks in Liverpool and all that crap.
Oh no, I've got a long list of people. You remember after we lost to Liverpool, I said there's going to be a moment where we know we've stayed up. And there's a massive long list of people we need to tell to fuck off. Yeah, I'm going for the Danny Trejo look before anybody says it.
Oh, that's coming up the nice.
More like Cheech and Chong, bro.
I don't know. I thought you did it quite well the other day. You got into the list of people that needed to fuck off, but it was just the usual ones. The PGM, LOL, fuck off to Klopp with his teeth. and all of the Liverpool fans that came on here saying cry more. How did the Klopp farewell tour finish for them? Not particularly impressive, was it? So I don't know. There was just, to be honest, I'm just glad it's in the rear view mirror, because I can't even be bothered to say fuck off to all of those people that I was saving it up for. But we're still here, and it looks like we'll be playing Southampton next year. So that's a 6. We start on +6 points. So
clip him, man. Clip him, man.
It's like the opposite of a points deduction, isn't it? It's we start off on +6 points.
Well, you're cashing in your receipts, not creating more, mate. Go on, carry on.
No, seriously, man. Ez, I'm not even joking you, right? And he won't deny this, or at least I don't think. For weeks, he's been like, he even called me last week to say, don't do a receipt stream because I'm on holiday, right? Save it for when I'm back. And that's all he had. Honestly, it's pathetic, Rob. I'm not going to lie. It's fucking pathetic, man.
All right. Well, I don't know.
You had your chance, mate. We're going to move on.
I thought you'd done it already.
What did I say to you? I said we weren't going to do it till you're back because you had this goddamn long list of shit.
Refer back to the expletive-laden rant after the Liverpool game, and all the people that I wanted to say fuck off can now refer to that, and please fuck off.
Are you now like changing your time because your boy Sunak declared an election and you're now watching what you're saying? Is that what's going on?
No, I'm not in the election. I'm happy to say I'm not in the election. I'm just a member of the public watching with the same dismay as everybody else.
Yeah, dismay.
All right, fuck off. We're moving on, mate. We're moving on. Carl.
Yes.
Let's kick off with like what we're here for, right? Worst and best moments of the season for you. I'm not talking about best game, right? We all know that was Man U when we beat Man U. Everyone knows that, right? I'm talking about like moments. What moments? And for you in the chat as well, what moment, was there a stage, the lowest you got this season when you thought we're down? This is it. This is over. Yeah, Rob's nodding away. He's got like 10, man. And like, what was your high for the season? Again, it's not necessarily, we beat Newcastle away or whatever it was. Like, it could have been just a moment, you know. Mine might be where December 19th was probably my high of the season for, you know, certain reasons. But Carl, kick us off. I don't care. Which one do you want to go with? Do you want to go worst or best?
I'll go worst. Let's start off with worst. I mean, look,
mate. I knew we would.
I mean, there's been a lot of bad moments, haven't there? I mean, just starting the season with no sponsor on our kit again for the second season. You know, that's just really poor from the club. Just shows how poorly we are managed behind the scenes. On the pitch, you know, you've got to look at that Fulham game away where we got absolutely smashed 5-0. That was embarrassing. Absolutely shocking. The players just give up, and you could see it on the pitch. It was absolutely awful to watch. But I would say for me, my worst moment was probably the home game against Luton when we was 2-0 up. Total control. You know, you would. I mean, I was looking at the league table, looking at, you know, what 3 points does to us. You know, where we move up to in the league, and then we concede 1, and then it's like, all right. Well, you know, we can maybe manage the game out, and then we concede another, and then it looks like we're even going to throw the game away. It was just deja vu back to Bournemouth, but not quite as bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I would say that is probably the moment when I just realised that this is not going to be the season I was hoping it was going to be. Because
at that stage, were you worried though? Because we were quite safe at that time, weren't we? We were good.
No, I was worried. I was worried because all the promises we were given before the season started and at the end of last season, where I think Morgan Gibbs White said it and Cooper said it, where, you know, we had to play a certain way this season. You know, we had no choice for whatever reason, and we got promised this other style of play, and it never happened. It was just exactly the same as the previous season. You know, and they both said it, and we was even starting with Ryan Yates in midfield and Joe Worrell at the back. For God's sake, you know, you just knew it. I just knew at that point that we were going to be in for a struggle, and there was no way we was going to be pushing up the league. We assured we've got no backbone in the side. We couldn't manage out a 2-0 lead against a crap Luton side. You know, it was painful And I was worried at that point. That was the moment when I realised that something has to change.
Carl, in hindsight, though, that was a
Fuck
real...
me, man. Carl, you got to turn your mic up, man.
Yeah.
I was going to turn your mic up.
Am I really loud?
No, he's really quiet.
Okay. Right. Yeah, no, just in hindsight, that moment you're talking about, for me, it was one of the most pivotal moments of the season.
Yeah, I agree.
It kind of led to Cooper's own downfall. He didn't make it easy for himself. He made those decisions in that game. That cost him a lot. I think there was rumors of something, a spat behind the scenes after that game with players and with chairman involved. And I feel that was not saying it was a good moment by any stretch of imagination, but saying it was a real pivotal moment in what happened later on and the decision that inevitably had to be made regarding the manager. So he did himself no favors in that game. Yeah. But in hindsight, for me, I'm glad it happened.
It was sad at the end, wasn't
crazy
it?
As that sounds, I think it had to happen because our football, you've just alluded to, our football was appalling. I didn't mind that we weren't getting the results, for football was absolutely atrocious to watch. Yeah. From the very first game at home to Sheffield United, the atmosphere that night, I couldn't account for it. Both me and Ant walked out of that stadium that night thinking, what have we just watched? We got away with one, with a late goal from...
we were awful. They should have won that.
From Chris Wood, yeah. And it was just a weird start to the season. And I think it didn't get any better for Cooper as it went on. So for me, that was an actual real pivotal moment.
Well, it did. I mean, the Villa game was after that, wasn't it? A couple of games after.
That's the reason why, for me, it was the
Villa at home.
We were doing all right. We were doing all right at that point, you know, points-wise.
Yeah.
We had points on the board. You know, all right, I wasn't happy with how we were playing, but it's the fact that we bottled a 2-0 lead at home against Luton. And last season, our home form was what kept us up and what kept Cooper in the job, let's be honest. That kept Cooper in the job and it kept us up. And if we, you know, just losing a 2-0 lead to, you saw what happened after Bournemouth last season. We spiraled. We spiraled after that. Unfortunately, we didn't totally spiral after the Luton game. I have to keep manually setting it up. So yeah, for me, that's the worst point of last season. Although, to be honest, I could have picked about 10 or 15 or 20 worst points.
Yeah, I agree, but Rob. At that stage, Rob, and I've got to agree with Owen. It's not fair just to say about that Luton game. Yeah, if you're being objective about it, Nuno did the exact same thing with Felipe in the away match when we were 1-0 up and then we conceded in the last minute, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it wasn't Felipe's direct fault of that goal. I think it was more tactically right. But around that stage, Rob, you were fully behind Cooper at that stage because that's when we first started having our spouts. Did that set any seeds of doubts in you? And just quickly before you answer, just in the chat, I'm doing a poll on each one's worst and best moments and seeing if you guys agree with it or not. 24% agree with Carl that Luton was their worst moment. 38 says no, and 39 say it's up there. It's up there. But yeah, Rob, on that Luton one, where were you? Where was your head? I can't exactly remember.
So I was at that game, and what you've also neglected to mention is that Chris Wood could have had a hat trick. We thought it was a goal, but from the angle I was looking, I thought it was a goal. I thought that we'd won 3-2, but we don't win through Fender a little bit more than I mean, he just got wrestled off the ball, and that's what's done it. But
was that the game where Serge Aurier did that weird move when the cross came in?
Oh, what you mean? He ducked out the way?
Yeah.
No,
that was that game.
That was the first one, and the second one was Adebayo just pushing Worrell out the way like he was like 10 stone, and. But I don't know. That wasn't for me the end for Cooper. It was just the 1 point from 7 games after that. That was what decided it. If he'd won any of those 7 games, I would have probably been clinging to hope for him. Certainly, Luton is when people were talking after Luton. People were talking out loud about it. So that definitely was, as Ez said, it was a pivotal moment.
But prior to that, Rob, wasn't the style of football getting to you? Because that was my biggest.
He was a
gripe.
happy clapper,
I'm
man.
somebody that doesn't particularly care about the style of football. I care a lot more about winning and staying up, and I don't care how it's achieved.
So when we combine the two, when we're not getting the results and we're not playing anywhere near decent football, doesn't that start grating on you?
We've had some great performances under Nuno where we've played entertaining football and they've been fantastic for the neutral, and we've lost 3-2. I don't enjoy games like that.
See,
this is a question about Cooper, though, isn't it? Not about Nuno. Like, you know, Cooper should have gone last season. He should have got rid of Cooper last season, or at least at the end of last season. Got a new guy.
After he just kept us up, after beating Arsenal at home.
Bournemouth. What did Bournemouth do?
Just kept us up.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. All right, well, let's not go into a whole Cooper debate. As Double O says, man, 79 likes with like 400 of you in here across all platforms. Get those likes up. Get those likes up. All right, let's spin this into positive.
Next season,
Let's spin this positive. Crypto, what was your highlight of the season or best moment of the season? I'm probably going to the most negative person for a highlight, but you know.
Yeah, I don't have any highlights. I thought it was shit. I thought the whole season was crap. No, not really.
This was Adam's comment though. Did you see this? Basically, high points Newcastle away, Man U at home. Low points everything else.
Fulham at home as well. Come on.
My highlight would have been Villa at home, because if you've seen Villa this season, they've done fantastic. They've absolutely smashed some bigger teams. They beat Arsenal. That's how Arsenal flopped the league to Villa. So to turn Villa over, I think that's one of our best games. And it's a shame we couldn't go on and carry on playing like that, because, you know, soon after that we went back to low block football, losing games, losing matches after being up. But that was a definite highlight for me. I've got to agree with everyone in the chat though. The low light had to be Liverpool. As you say that, you know, when we play bad and lose, it's awful. But for me, playing brilliant and losing is even worse. And we've done that a few times this season. I didn't think we deserved to lose that game. And let's be honest, it was at the end of the day, it was from an incorrect decision from the ref. So that Liverpool game for me was a real, you know, kick in the balls. But onwards and upwards for the next season. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm glad that Nuno's going to stay, and I think if he gets a full pre-season in front of him, he'll do all right next season.
Wait, what do you mean you're glad he's going to stay? You know something no one else knows?
He's going to stay. He's going to stay.
Okay.
Have you been speaking to your mate upstairs?
Yeah.
He's on holiday.
Yeah, really. There's quite a few interesting moments.
You know, you've been stalking him, mate. You know,
let me bring up some of the chat ones, guys. As you're lagging, man.
Sorry.
Fuck me, as you're lagging.
I'm lagging.
Let me check my
stuff. You're fine now. You're fine. Okay, so let's bring up some of the chat stuff. Owen saying Fulham at home gave us belief, and Morgan Gibbs White was on fire. TC's picking out the same one. He's saying Fulham at home for him. Second was Chelsea at home for the atmosphere. Third was Villa, West Ham at home. A lot of home games coming up. Cujo saying Joe Worrell going out on loan was his highlight of the season. Chelsea away saying Malcolm, that was another good one. I think that was Dino's highlight. He loved that game. I agree with James, man. That Man U one still arouses me. There's some interest. Highlight was Wood changing my opinion of how crap I thought he was, says Eddie. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. West Ham beating Luton was Alfie's highlight of the moment. It wasn't even the Forest one. I think it's a fair one to shout out. And Sharky with the 21 months, closing in on the 2 years. You're absolute legend. Thank you so much. I can't believe yet not one of you has put a Matt Turner moment out there as a highlight or a.
I was building up to it.
Building up to the crescendo.
Yeah. I was going to just jump because he's already mentioned it, so it's kind of like nicked mine a little bit. But for personal reasons, my low point was the Liverpool game, because I've never, in my supporting days, I've never seen us lose a home game to Liverpool, and the way we lost it, and the fact that it also never made any difference to their league position at the end of the season. If it kind of made a three-way race at the top, then you kind of would have accepted it. But the bitterness from them. And this is 2 seasons we've had the accusations of these chants against talking about Hillsborough and things like that. I've been to both games. I can honestly say I didn't hear anything. Now, if it was the case, it was only a minority of Forest fans. So to kind of like tar the whole of the Forest fan base with that was bang out of order from the Liverpool fans who, let's be fair, man, everyone's always treading water around them. But I grew up in the 80s and I saw the shit that Liverpool fans caused all across Europe. We had a ban in Europe because of them. And what happened at Hillsborough, Ant said it before, no one thinks about the Forest fans who had to witness that. Everyone just dismisses what we went through. And I think it kind of was the beginning of the end for Forest as well from then on, because the next few seasons we really struggled, and then a season later we're relegated to the Championship. Yes, we got back, and we got back quite quickly. But yeah, those moments kind of came back for me, because I would say for the last decade or so, certainly whilst Klopp's been there, I kind of like didn't mind them so much. But this season, what happened at the City Ground this season it reignited that hatred for me. And they're still number one team that I hate. And but we got back to that position for me purely because of what happened in that game. And like I said, it didn't even make any difference to their championship or the end of Klopp. It didn't make any difference.
Did Jimmy not ignite your hatred for Sheffield United more?
Oh, mine was already ignited.
Yeah. Stop. Sheffield. Right. So I was going to go into my positive. And my positive was a moment rather than a highlight. That third goal against Sheffield at Bramall Lane, mate. Securing our survival, giving them that 100 goals conceded. That was my moment of the season, because it was just relief. It's been a shocking.
Which goal was that? I can't even remember. Was that Callum?
That was Hudson-Odoi.
Okay,
yeah. So when they just literally couldn't figure out how to defend against him, when he's to be fair, he's a very good one-trick pony, but he is a one-trick pony. But that moment, that was a relief for me, because I don't care what Rob says. The next week for me was just admin. You know, we were safe.
Admin.
I wasn't worried. So at that stage, I was satisfied. I was relaxed. But it was an awful season.
Rob doesn't do his own admin in Parliament, though. He's got PAs to do that for him.
Where's the tumbleweed?
Yeah, I can't. I haven't got enough hands right now for the tumbleweed, man. But Rob, like Ant saying, Ez is doing a fine job in the bottom left. I fucking hate Liverpool. I can't move on without maybe you wanting to agree with Ez on Liverpool.
Oh, it was 100% by far and away the worst moment of the season. In fact,
was that your worst moment?
Oh, definitely. It's probably the worst moment of the last 10 seasons. You know, it was just the nature of it. The fact that when you look back at it, actually came from our attack as well. It came from our attack. The players stopped. The ball goes up the other end. And then Taiwo and Cho get in a mix-up. And then last kick of the game, Nunes. And it was just so Liverpool of old, you know, in the 99th minute. But I've got a couple of other candidates if you want, because that one's like in the stratosphere of bad moments, right? It's
you can't say the worst in the last 10 years when we've had like Stoke in the last 10 years.
That was.
You got that worse than us screwing up against Stoke.
I've got two other bad ones for you. Okay. So first one, home to Arsenal. We've been really disciplined for about 70 minutes. Low blocking. They've not had a shot on goal. Matt Turner's playing really, really well. And then somehow Arsenal score from 90 degrees. And that was the most Matt Turner thing of the season. So that was the moment where I was ready to attack if I saw him in a Forest shirt again after that. So that's one. But I'll tell you another one. Worst one I've been at was the 3-2 against Bournemouth. I looked over my shoulder. I was behind Matt Turner's goal. And I looked over my shoulder and it said something like 93 minutes. I thought, come on, that's got to be it now. And then Solanke did that header and it just went straight in. And Turner's kind of reaching for it and he's not going to get it. Straight in, right in front of my face. And then end of the game. Welcome to Forest.
Was that 93rd minute? Was this goal?
It was. And it was. Remember, it followed the Bolly sending off. We'd even taken the lead in that game as well.
Yeah.
So
No, Rob, surely that shows that Solanke is overrated because it was against
No,
Matt Turner.
that's why I'm a Solanke fanboy. After that
Yeah,
game,
but it was against Matt Turner.
We're not doing Solanke tonight. We are
Do
not.
you know what I just realised?
He's fucking.
I
Eddie's
just-
low point was Rob joining the fan.
I just realised that Sheffield finished on minus 69 goal difference.
Yeah, they leveled
So-
it. They leveled it.
They really?
Yeah, minus 69.
That's level with Derby. Carl, do you hate Liverpool? You're not as old as Rob and that, right? You're kind of my age, like 22 odd, right? But does your Liverpool hatred run within your blood, or what's your thoughts on Liverpool?
It doesn't look. I am actually old enough to remember football in the 80s, so I do. You know, I remember the rivalry. I need to pull heads up on something because like if it wasn't for Liverpool getting a ban in Europe, we would never have won the Simod Cup. So that's a trophy.
That's fair play because that was the first game I actually watched us win. First trophy I watched us win. So fair play, fair comment on that one. But it did.
I was at primary school when excuse me. We were going to Wembley regular time. We were going to Wembley twice in a season. We're winning the Littlewoods Cup and winning the Simod Cup. We're getting beat by Man United in the league. We got beat by Spurs in the FA Cup. So I remember all those days, and I should hate Liverpool. I don't think I like Liverpool.
Carl's audio settings are changing quicker than Rishi's manifesto.
Yeah, I'm tinkering with them as he speaks.
Oh, you tinkering with them? Okay.
I'm cleaning.
Let me just jump in for a second then, because but did you grow up around Liverpool fans? Because that's where my hatred came from. All my mates were Liverpool fans.
Yeah, because I went to school in Bulwell at primary school. That's where it was, and it was a mix of. It wasn't all Forest fans. There was Man United fans. There was a lot of Liverpool fans. I would say probably more Forest fans, but there was Liverpool as well. But I don't know. Like I think at the time I probably did hate them, and we had that big rivalry. But I think as I've grown up, and a lot of my adult life, we've not been in the top leagues, so I haven't. That hatred towards Liverpool has probably just kind of died down. But then it's probably grown a little bit more recently because of that incident.
So who obviously outside of Derby, who's your right up there hate?
Well, Derby. I can't stand Derby. I can't say one of them because of the city I live in.
Is it an animal-based team, mate?
I can't confirm or deny that. I don't hate a lot of clubs, to be honest. I haven't got much hatred for other clubs, to be fair. Derby's the obvious one. Dislike Leicester. Put Leeds. I can't stand Leeds. I was absolutely ecstatic with them losing today and seeing their fans cry. Loved every second of it. I don't even usually bother watching the other bits of the game when they're finished, but I stuck around just to see images of Leeds fans crying and just drink the tears.
They weren't even in the stadium at full time. They'd gone. All right, but who's your soft spot for? Ant's got a soft spot for obviously Arsenal, or should I say he's got a soft spot for Forest, being an Arsenal fan and he can't defend himself. You got any secondary soft spot teams? Seeing that you're such a fluffy, nice guy and you don't hate any other teams.
No, not really. But Notts County, I want Notts County to do well. I know, being from Nottingham, you're supposed to only like one of the teams. I like Notts County.
No, I don't mind them.
I want Notts County to get into the Premier League. I want that rivalry. I want them to be alongside us, and it'd be great for the city. So I know they hate us, or some of them do, but I'm all for Notts County doing well. I look out for the results. They're the second team I look out for.
Yeah, they're just insignificant though, aren't they?
Yeah, Stags as well, I would say.
Yeah, it's I don't really care about them. I don't hate or like them. Rob, you're kind of nodding. You got a little soft spot for the county.
I've no problem with them. It's an entirely one-sided dislike from them. It's like England and Scotland. Like, we don't give a fuck about Scotland, but all they care about
watch
is
your
how much
mouth.
Right, all Scotch fans care about is how much they hate England. I don't mind if Scotland get to the Euro final. You know, I don't care. They're not important to me. The people I hate are Germany and Argentina, not Scotland. So in the same, I haven't got the energy to hate Notts County. You know, I hate people like Liverpool and yeah, Leeds. I don't like Leeds at all. They're cheats.
Mm-hmm.
We all hate Leeds. We all hate Leeds. Everyone hates Leeds. But I'm a one club man. I don't get people who have got like a secondary Premiership team or you know, I don't get like I get it if it's like a Spanish team or a German team, you know, or an Italian team. You can have a secondary team from another league, but you can't have two teams if you're a proper fan. Sorry. Can't do it.
I agree. I don't mind if you've got like a La Liga team or something. Do you know what I mean? Like a foreign.
Yeah, La Liga, a lot of people support Barcelona or Real Madrid as well, don't they?
That's it.
Yeah. Shout out to Real Madrid, Zidane, legend, best player of all time. Yeah. So okay. I've just asked the chat about Notts County because I was curious here. Only 5% hate them, 18%, 17 now percent like them. 78% don't mind them. It's a bit like Leicester, isn't it? It's like it depends what generation you're from with Leicester. You'll find some Forest fans hate them, some don't. I don't mind Leicester. It's like whatever. But Leicester hate Forest, don't they? Because they just need someone to pair up with because no one cares about them. It's weird. Does anyone here hate Leicester, by the way? Just out of interest.
No, like Rob said earlier, we don't care about them. It's one. That's a one-way one. Yeah,
we are rivals, but no hatred. You know, I want to beat them. I do want to beat them because they want to beat us, obviously. So definitely rivals, but not hatred.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I agree with Mark. Right, being born in Scotland, I can't stand Murray either. Honestly, that guy, he's such a mardy git, man. Anyway, let's not go about tennis here. Let's go about tennis. Okay, so we've done some of the worst, some of the goods. Who hasn't done a good or a bad? I can't remember now. Who we got left?
Go back to Rob because he didn't say
more
anything.
More or less covered the good. Man United at home. Man United at home. Obviously, the Chris Wood hat-trick away. First half against Fulham was the best I've seen us play. I was privileged to be there.
You're welcome, bro.
My personal best moment of the season was James Ward-Prowse scoring against Luton, because at that moment I knew we were staying up. I'm sorry to say.
That was your highlight.
Yes.
Rob, I would agree with that.
Yeah, the relief. I mean, Luton were bloody winning.
It wasn't even one of our highlights.
Yeah, Luton were winning that game. And up to that point, West Ham had not even had a shot.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the worst, darkest hole. And then it was a really good goal as well.
Yeah, but isn't that depressing? I'm sorry, isn't that depressing to have?
In a way, yes, but I've got to kind of agree with Rob because the atmosphere walking up to the stadium that day was one of the best I've ever.
That was the Chelsea game, wasn't it? That was the Chelsea game.
Yeah, that I've ever witnessed because everybody was in such high spirits. We were found out literally on the way to the game, and we were stood outside the fan zone as usual, and they had it up on a big screen with the scores coming through, and just the cheer at full time in those two games was bigger than the cheer we got in the stadium. But the atmosphere was amazing, and it wasn't until that last 10 minutes of a Chelsea game when we'd lost it from a point where we were at that stage we didn't give a shit. We conceded the first goal, we were still cheering. The fans were happy, but the way that game panned out and the amount of chances we had to bury them that day, that put a little bit of a sour taste on the day. But genuinely, the walking into the stadium that day was, I've never experienced anything like that because we already knew we were safe. And the atmosphere was just unbelievable that day.
But I remember, Carl, you were at that game. You were telling me the atmosphere got weird at the end. You said it was like bouncing and then it was like the balloon popped kind of thing at the Chelsea game.
I wanted the Chelsea game.
Oh, you were at the Wolves game, weren't you?
It was a Wolves game. I was at. Yeah.
Was it? All right, so fuck that question.
Well, to be fair, the same thing happened at that game as well.
What was that score? Did we draw with them or lose to them?
It's 2-2. We went 2-1 up, and then we.
It was a corner. It was a bloody corner.
Is that when you text me? Is that when you text me? Was it that one?
Yeah, that was the sacking corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was meant to be at the freaking Chelsea game. I forgot. That's when I had my stupid heart attack. All right, it's all coming. Do you know what? I've already forgotten half the games we've played this season, man. It's like I wanted to wipe it out.
It's not been a memorable season in a lot of ways. What Old Spice, guys? There's no Old Spice. There's no Brute 33. None of that crap. But yeah, you're talking about those moments, but like I say, walking into that stadium that day, walking out was really strange. And if you were there, you would have seen that basically the fans walked out begrudgingly, knowing that we were safe, but disappointed again with another 3-2 that we've spoke about time and time again this season. We're taking leads and we're not holding on to points in games. But we said this at the end of last season. If we could make these small little changes, win half the games that where we dropped points in, we'd be so much further up the table. So again, it's going to be small changes as far as I'm concerned. But there were good points and bad points this season, but there weren't many memorable occasions, were there? It was just relief to get away from. For me, one of the worst seasons that I can remember, to be honest, mate. So that's why I haven't got many high points, but I'm sure the others might have a couple more that we haven't mentioned yet.
No, we need some more high points. I'm sorry, but what is this obsession with your Brute 33, man? I don't. They're all asking me to do a poll. I'm going to just do it. I don't know why, but I'll just do the poll. Okay, just a very quick reminder before we get some more highlights. Man, you lot are depressing me in the chat, man. Like, how many points total did we drop from Leeds? It was like 27, I think, something like that. Marinakis' post. There's some nice little high points there. No one said PSR. No one said anything like that. Just very quick reminder, you've got 1 day and a few hours left on the Chris Wood signed shirt with 3 Insta shirt prize wins. Alanga ticket number 210, Taiwo ticket number 9, and Raina ticket number 20. If you want to get your tickets in, it's pinned in the chat and it's in the description down below. Make sure you've hit the like button. Also, make sure you're following Carl on Twitter. His handler is in the description. Go give that a click and give him some abuse on Twitter because he says a lot of annoying things on there as well. And
I'm checking how many followers I've got, and if it doesn't go up, then
he's doubling his fee tonight, right? So I think he's like 100 off 5K or something like that. I get a daily update from him. Yeah, honestly, he's like, I got a new follower. I lost 3. So yeah, if you're not following him, go follow him. It's in the link.
It's going down.
Well, I'm not surprised with your shitty mic, mate. I mean, what do you expect? So no one can hear you. It actually sounds okay now. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. Don't touch. Okay, let's do some highlights, right? Crypto, you haven't said your highlight yet, and I'm praying it's not on that Turner one.
My highlights, I'm struggling to think of any because we were crap all season. I mean, the highlight I said was Villa.
Oh yeah, you did.
So that was my main match highlight.
All right, fuck off then. We'll move on.
In terms of players, if you want me to give you a player highlight,
go on then.
There's only deserves to win Player of the Season, and that's Murillo. Because I think that without Murillo, we go down this season. I know there's been brilliant performances from MGW. I thought Nico Williams was really good. Bolly was fantastic. Been some standout players, but for me, if Murillo doesn't do the blocks he did in the games that he did, we concede more goals, we lose points, we go down. Murillo for me was just literally the difference. I know it's a team game, but if you take Murillo out of that squad, I genuinely think we'd get relegated this season.
Who agrees that Murillo is player of the season?
Definitely, I agree.
100%. Oh,
okay, you're shaking your head, Carl.
Carl's going to say Matt Turner, isn't he?
I was thinking Black, but
that's mine.
Look,
Murillo then.
Can I take that back? I meant to say Mangala. Sorry,
Yeah, that's true.
I got the M. I said I had the M on the mind. I meant to say Mangala.
Well, you don't
Really?
even have a Mangala shirt, so I don't know why you're crying about Mangala, right?
I do. It's just there.
What did I say about Mangala when he went? Him going isn't going to be the
You
difference.
made him
Yeah,
go. You were
call
the
that
reason.
in. Call it in, Ez. Call it in.
Some receipts.
Call it
Can we
in.
cash in some receipts?
Yeah.
We were crap. As soon as
What did I
Mangala
say
left,
to
we
you
were
and-
crap.
What did I say to you and Ant at the time?
Mm.
Mangala leaving is not going to be the difference between Forest.
But he
staying up
was.
and
We nearly
down.
got relegated.
Was he? Was he though?
Yeah, he was. He was.
All right,
How much in the
shut
bank?
up about Mangala, right?
That
I
was
want to
Em.
know
That
why
was Em.
Carl
He
don't
won
think that Murillo was player
Wait,
of the
can we
season.
sing? No, can
What?
we wax lyrical about Murillo before he gives his one?
No,
That'll
we'll
make
do
more-
that in a minute. Well, you can then. So Carl's gonna say why he's not, and then you can argue back with him, saying why Isabella and he's wrong if that's your opinion,
Yeah, I
right?
don't think he's going to slag Murillo off though. But go
Well,
ahead.
he
Carl.
might. You never,
You never
know.
know.
Go on.
Look, I'm not going to slag Murillo off. Murillo is class. Murillo is class, but he's not. I don't think he's quite as good as a lot of people think he is.
Oh no!
That's more of an agenda than Ant's got against him.
Like, I know you said some of the tackles he's made. If it weren't for those, we wouldn't have stayed up. But a lot of them were like last ditch tackles. Admittedly, some were just really good
And the blocks.
reading the game well. But he's missed a lot of headers where we conceded goals, where he's been at fault.
Yeah,
I think
but
defensively, he's not quite as good as we want him to be yet, and I think he will get there. He's lovely on the ball. His passing is amazing. Probably one of the best passes of the ball I've seen from a defender. And I think if we do keep him at the club, he's going to be amazing. But player of the season for me is Mortem Gibbs White.
Why?
The thing is though, Carl, it's his first professional season in terms of a full season. He's only 21. If you look at all of the blocks and those last ditch tackles that he's made, we would be conceding another 10 or so goals across the season, and that would literally change the results and get us relegated. Mortem Gibbs White is brilliant. I think Mortem Gibbs White is a fantastic player, and he's contributed to a lot of assists. He's contributed to a lot of goals. But if you take Murillo out the equation, we lose points. Mortem Gibbs White is there to add points, but Murillo goes and you lose points, and then you get relegated.
We have a habit in our fan base of overhyping players, and I think we have overhyped Murillo a little.
What about Mortem Gibbs White? You overhyped Mortem Gibbs White?
Okay.
Look,
Yeah.
Mortem Gibbs White has proved it last season and this season. He's, he does deliver. I know, his corners are absolutely terrible. He can hardly beat the first man most of the time. But, assists, and he can definitely add goals to his game. But the chances he creates, and what was he in the Premier League for chances created? Was he sixth or something like that?
Third. Oh,
Was he
yeah,
third?
created. I don't know. He was third for assists. Yeah.
And chances created, I think he was pretty high up as well. If you take that out of the team, we are relegated. And other defenders can do what Murillo has done defensively.
Oh, I don't agree. Let's stick on MG Dub. I argued last week that MG Dub makes us a little one-dimensional. Do you think we'd benefit from a different formation, and can MG Dub adapt to that?
Now, I've got to answer this one way because Wolfie already knows my answer to that question. I think he was surprised at my answer to that question to him, because I actually said Crypto made a really good point about Morgan.
Yeah, that's when you lost me, mate, when he said that the other day.
I actually agree. We are a little bit one-dimensional with Morgan Gibbs White, and if we had to sell one of the two players, I wouldn't be against selling Morgan Gibbs White.
Wait, you just said he's your player of the season. You hate Murillo, and now you're going to sell Morgan Gibbs White.
I never said I hate Murillo.
You did.
Murillo is brilliant. He is. But for me, he's not the player of this season. I think for me, it's Morgan Gibbs White, because we needed his creativity, his assists. But it does make us one-dimensional. There's not many teams in the Premiership that play with an out-and-out 10, is there?
Absolutely, yeah.
What
But
we should acknowledge with
There's
Gibbs
tricks that we
White,
can do.
what we should acknowledge with Gibbs White is just how much he improved compared to last year, though, because that's what really stands out for me. I mean, I just wonder if we could hang on to him for another year, whether he might get even better. But I mean, what was lacking in the previous season was just end product. You know, he was
did
not
have a very quiet spell though, Rob, in the season when probably Cooper could have done with him hitting some form then. Because
have you seen the
everyone
videos
says
of
that,
the
Taiwo not being available cost Cooper his job? But I think MG Dub's form at that stage of the season was appalling.
The thing is, if you take, I know this is not very fair, but if you take Mortem Gibbs White out position like Cooper did, he wasn't that great. Whereas Murillo, you could put him anywhere. You could put him left centre back, right centre back.
Absolute straw man. That's an absolute straw man.
It's not, because what I'm saying is,
it's not like he's played at left back or anywhere.
I know, but
Yeah.
Murillo is adapting to every game, to every position he has to play. Murillo is adapting. I'm not trying to slate Mortem Gibbs White. I thought Mortem Gibbs White was absolutely fantastic. He'd definitely be number 2 for me behind Murillo. But I just think Murillo, at his young age, with a lack of experience, did absolutely fantastic. Mortem Gibbs White has international experience. He has a few years' experience playing with Sheffield, etc. He's got that there. Murillo's come in straight into the Premier League and put in a season like that. I just think it's unbelievable. I genuinely think he's one of the best defenders we've ever seen at Forest.
Crypto, you've just been done by Talking Reds. Make sure you're following them with Greg. It's a fantastic new show they got going on. And he's absolutely down here. Because you completely contradicted your point, because you wanted Mortem Gibbs White in the 8 because you thought he looked good there.
Yeah, but not the 6. Yeah, but they were trying to play him out on the right and stuff. It wasn't working. When Rayner came in and sat in the 10 for a game or two, I didn't think he looked that much far off Mortem Gibbs White.
Shut up, man. Now you're just doing a call now. Seriously, man.
Look, can I just go? I want to go back to this Murillo thing, right? I want to be clear. I do not hate Murillo. I think Murillo is a terrific player. And I think he's had an amazing season. He just hasn't had a good season as Mortem Gibbs White. Mortem Gibbs White's had a better season. And Murillo's ceiling is probably a lot higher than Mortem Gibbs White. Murillo is going to be an amazing defender, but he isn't as good as we all think he is yet. He's possibly going to be, but I don't think he is quite yet. But he has had a good season. But for me, Mortem Gibbs White's had a better season. And he's been more
still think you hate him. I've asked the chat. There's a poll. Does Carl hate Murillo?
There's always been a gender on it. Don't feel.
It's fair enough. Player of the season is definitely between those two, but I think we should probably move to acknowledging some of the others that have been maybe.
No, I just said no, Rob. You can't just move on.
Are you going to say Bolly? Are you going to say Bolly?
I think there's another 3 candidates.
That's what Rob's saying. So let Rob put a couple more suggestions.
I was going to say. I mean, obviously Hudson-Odoi, but I was going to say Chris Wood. And the reason for Chris Wood is simply because he's played half a season and he's got 15 goals. End product. And he's dug himself out. I mean, I've not seen anyone in a long time turn round their reputation from being seen as a complete waste of space to being a nailed-on starter and actually up there in the Premier League scoring charts. And remember, he's done that in half a season. He was a bit player under Cooper. So I think that needs to be acknowledged. Now, obviously, you can't win player of the season based on half the season's work. So that's why I think that, I mean, we've got to remember that Murillo only really came in about a quarter of the way through as well. So, Gibbs White has maybe got a case for being player of the season because he's been involved since the start. But I think, if Chris Wood had a whole season to do what he did when Nuno turned up, if he'd had a whole season to do that, if Nuno had been here from the start, he might have got 20 goals. So, and like I said, I feel like
my argument was it Nuno that got the best out of Chris Wood?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah, I think the
100%.
change in how we played.
Wolverine's froze.
Has he?
Wolverine's froze. Rob, I mean, obviously you weren't going to vote MGW Player of the Season because at one point you said you wanted to run him over in a van.
No, I never said that. That is a misquote. And by the way, congratulations on getting the Plymouth job.
No, I'm quite happy about that. I didn't expect it, to be honest, after I got the other teams relegated, but I'm pretty happy with that. Ez, what are your thoughts, Ez, on?
Just before Ez says
on Murillo, you know what?
Murillo, just before you, Ez, just before you
sorry.
go into your bit, I just want to say I would actually put in order of Player of the Season: Morgan Gibbs White, Chris Wood, Murillo.
Fair.
Did I just walk back into what I think I heard?
Yeah, you did. So let's see if anybody agrees with that.
Wait, did you just say Morgan Gibbs White, Chris Wood, Murillo?
In that order, yeah.
Does anyone agree with that? My computer just crashed.
Remember, that's the Player of the Season.
The new computer.
I'm not saying that's the order of the better player outside of the season. I'm just saying for Player of the Season, that's my order.
I can kind of see the logic, but I don't know if I agree.
Does it need updating?
I think three candidates. We're probably top three candidates, but
no, they're not. No, they're not.
Okay, we can get to you in a second. I'm just going to finish off about Murillo and why I think
you're going to finish him off, fire.
Why for me he was the most impressive player of the season.
Just before you do, I got some super chats I got to catch up with.
Please do.
Good shout out to Chris. Thank you so much for the £2. Never mind tens. Morgan Gibbs White beats most mids for work rate. That is true, man. If his FIFA card isn't high, I'd be shocked. Thank you to Moody for the 9 months. The beautiful, look at that. Now that's a beard. That's a beard, Rob. Look at Sharky's beard there. Thank you so much for the £2. Defeat at Everton was a sickener for him, he says. And Maddie with the 8 months. Love you, Maddie. Hope you're well, buddy. And yeah, we need a new PC now. Honestly, my balls dropped because all three screens froze and then it just restarted. But anyway, let's not talk about PCs right now. Go on. I've just hyped you up now as you're about to say something prolific about Murillo. Go for it.
Well, just a bit of what Crypto said as well. I think he made some real last-ditch saves that saves us potential goals, and there's no doubt about it. He was brilliant off the line, 2 or 3 clearly off the line. He was in the right place at the right time. He has made mistakes this season, but I couldn't think of more than a couple of goals that I could put any real blame on from Murillo. But for me to come in, and Crypto touched on this, to come into a new league. First season, age of 21.
Not just a new league.
Seen the start of this. For me, he's going to be a once in a generation type player. He's going to be big, and I just hope we get at least another season out of him because there's a lot to look forward to. But also, I want to see. As much as I've loved Bolly this season, and I think if we'd had Bolly all season for the full season, no injuries, I don't think we'd be anywhere near relegation. But I want to see Omobamidele because he's another youngster that I think was thrown in at the deep end because at one stage we were going to send him out on loan, but we kept him.
Yeah, that was Cooper, wasn't it?
That wasn't. It was Nuno as well.
No, it was Nuno. It was under Nuno.
Yeah.
But the injuries we had around the AFCON period and the centre backs we were losing, it was key that we held on to, and I'm so glad we did because he came in and he was a breath of fresh air, and he didn't look panicked by the Premier League either. He made one or two mistakes, which you kind of have to forgive him for, but at the end of the day, didn't cost us our position in the league. But I would start next season with them too. Let's hope we get through this summer and we hold on to Murillo. But you got to be looking at putting them Omobamidele and Murillo in a pairing and seeing where that takes us. Because
what about Bolly though?
I know it's a defensive position, but if you can get your defense sorted, everybody else knows you can build around that. With the MG Dub situation, fantastic player, key player, and he got better and better as the season went on, no doubt about it, and became more and more influential. I don't know where that come from, but yeah, more and more influential. So he's definitely up there. The 3 that Carl's gone with, I would agree with, but not in that order. Do you want me to give you my order?
Go on then. Fucking hell.
Right, so
have
Murillo,
a
as
choice.
I said, number one. MG done number two, and a very close third for Chris Wood for me. But they're the top three for me. And you've got somebody else in mind.
I got loads in mind.
I-
Wait, has
I-
everyone done the top three?
No,
I
I
don't know how
haven't.
this has turned into the top three, but fuck it, whatever. Go
Yeah.
on.
I'll give you my top three. I'd go Murillo, Morgan Gibbs White, and then for the games he played, and I know it wasn't everything, for the games he played, I'd have to go Bolly. Bolly was class. Bolly was absolutely brilliant. Like you say, if Bolly wasn't injured, I don't think we'd be anywhere near relegation.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I agree that Chris Wood has had a great season. So has people like Callum Hudson-Odoi, Nico Williams. I think Sells has been pretty good as well. There's been some good performances in there, but Murillo, Morgan Gibbs White, Bolly for me are going to be my top three.
Did you do the top three, Rob?
Sort of. It would be the same as Carl, just in a different order. It'd be Murillo, then maybe Gibbs White, then Wood.
You lot don't know football, man.
I know what you're going to say.
I love Hudson-Odoi.
I know what you're going to say.
Make it if it was a top five, it would be Hudson-Odoi and probably Bolly. So, I mean,
Yeah,
but, you know, there's
another key player.
But there's others as well. Nico Williams, Matt Sells have had.
I reckon Nico Williams is overhyped. I'm sorry, right? But Nico Williams is the most improved player for me under Nuno.
White is the most.
No, I'm talking
player.
under Nuno. I'm talking under Nuno, right?
Well, Chris Wood is the most improved player under Nuno.
Improving from as well. Like he was awful last season.
All right, fine. All right, Chris Wood, you're right. Okay. You see, when I think I'm wrong, I'll happily admit I'm wrong. But I'm still not convinced on Nuno.
We're forgetting players like Aina and Dominguez as well.
Thank you. Finally, someone starts to speak some sense on here.
Why
Bloody,
aren't
it's
we
only
in
taken
Europe?
an hour.
Why aren't we in Europe with all these good players?
Because he starts Ryan Yates every game. Sorry, Ryan Yates.
No, I think you lot are forgetting a couple of key ones. As you're right in the chat, right?
Yeah.
Sells. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I will still say I am not convinced Sells should be number one next season. But Sells coming in January made at least this idiot stop talking about Matt Turner every 5 minutes. And I got to point this idiot as well, because I was sick of talking about Matt Turner. Okay. And Sells he's not like Samba enough for me. It's probably how I'd describe him. But he's just there. He's like when you get an ice cream, it's vanilla. Everyone likes vanilla. You're gonna eat it, right? But I'd prefer some strawberry with some raspberry little sprinkle things and what have you. Yeah, but I'll still eat vanilla. So I'm happy with Sells. But he did change the direction of our results, because we weren't coming away from matches going, oh, if Turner hadn't fucked up again, we would have won that. We would have won that. And of course, the other one that none of you are talking about was Sangare. Like, statement signing, Sangare, one of the best.
Are we moving on to the worst?
We're not talking about signing.
Are we on the worst? Are we on the worst section?
We are doing the worst section because that's going to be fun as well. All right, who wants to kick off the worst section? Wait, I've got a couple of super chats. Let me catch up on the super chats. £2 from Sharky saying villain of the season, Luton Town Supporters Trust. Yeah, that fat bloody Corden, man. Yeah, you go and enjoy playing Derby, you fat prick, man. Honestly, what a twat. Talking Red saying Sells save against Liverpool was absolute class. That was in the nominees for save of the season, and they gave it to Luton. I mean, at least Luton can look back at the Premier League with one fond memory. Just on Luton very quickly before we do worst players. I gotta say, I was listening to Forest all over, and Chris absolutely nailed it when he talked about Luton. He was like, Luton are gonna be that team. When you watch Premier League best years of on Sky Sports, yeah. And he was like, I was watching it the other time, and I was like, oh yeah, Bradford were in the Premier League. It's like Luton are gonna be that team in 5 years' time, where everyone's like, oh yeah, do you remember when Luton were in the Premier League? That fucking plucky. I was like, that's absolutely perfect analysis of them. So so let's do the worst stuff. If this is the worst podcast you've listened to, make sure you've hit the like button. So that should be all of you right now. Make sure you subscribed if you're new. We're only 20 subscribers away from 18,900. And also shout out to our special guest Carl. Make sure you're following him on Twitter. Okay, who wants to kick off the way? We'll do a top 3 worst. Chat, get involved in the comments. We'll bring them up as they go through. This is going to be brutal, man, because I can feel a lot of arguments incoming. Who wants to kick us off?
I want to kick off because I've got a name on the end of my tongue who I really need to say.
Oh, fuck.
It's not
Matt,
Joe Worrell, is it?
Matt Turner. Matt Turner is the worst Forest player I have ever seen in my whole
Agreed.
life.
Nah, it's not. Nah.
Not in what? Okay, when you went too far.
He is the worst Forest player. And Sharky said something
I've
that
ever seen. That's not
Sharky said something that resonated with me the other day.
Right.
And he said, we forget sometimes that these players have feelings, etc. And too, because they all wear red. Well, Matt Turner doesn't. He wears blue and he's shit. And I want him out of this country. I want him gone because he's the worst Forest player.
Now.
He's the worst. Send him to Rwanda or wherever Rishi's sending people. Get him out. Get him out. I cannot stand to see that man in a in a Forest shirt ever again. Okay, Matt Turner, get off the continent. I don't want to see you again. Second one.
Oh shit, we're not done it.
Second one. I've got my top 3 yet. Second
Just
one.
the 3, yeah.
I'm gonna have to say Czech Kyoto because I just don't think he's got the legs anymore. And obviously he's now left Forest, but
he didn't really play, Ben.
But he's not. I don't think he's on his way to the MLS, is he? I think he's going to be our number 2 going forward. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, no one else would take him. The PSR would just go to shit because we'd make a massive loss on him. But yeah, I don't want to talk about Matt Turner because
I'm guessing you don't like Matt Turner.
I don't want to talk about Matt Turner because I don't want to get the channel permanently banned. Czech Kyoto. Completely.
He didn't play. He played 2 games.
Because he's crap.
We're talking
about our top 3 worst players. He didn't play because he's crap. I don't know.
Okay, so who's number 3?
It's crap. Now, our third player did play, and he played a hell of a lot, and he started a lot of matches, and his name's Ryan Yates, and he needs to get off the pitch because Dominguez is way, way better than Ryan Yates.
He was injured.
Danilo, I don't care if he was injured. Sangare is better than him. Czech Kyoto is better. Oh no, I can't say it. I'm gonna.
You'd have to change your order, mate, for that to
I
make
changed
sense.
my order. Ryan Yates in the number 2. Czech Kyoto is better than Ryan Yates. Look, Ryan Yates, shout out to him, but I don't think he's a starting player. He's a squad player. He has to come off the bench for the right games. We've got players like
Wait.
Sangare, Dominguez, Danilo. There's all these midfielders we've got.
Crypto. I got something. So you're saying that Origi was better for Forest this year than Yates?
I was about to say Origi.
Why? I'm not talking about Origi.
No, because you're saying the top 3 worst players of the season. So you've got Yates ahead of Origi.
I know, but I've got to carry on my agenda to keep it consistent. So, to be honest, I completely forgotten about Origi. He was shit as well.
Can I go next?
He can do one as well. So, look, Ryan Yates is the thing that annoys me about Ryan Yates is he keeps getting started, and I don't think if we want to improve up through the league, Ryan Yates cannot start a match again ever for Forest.
Okay.
I think it's
Rob.
too harsh.
Right, so I think some people got a free pass there. We know that crypto's pretty focused.
Agendaed,
Yeah.
A bit like Carl with Murillo.
Obviously,
I'm going to make that stick now. I'm going to make it stick.
You can't ignore Turner, right? I mean, you know when Taiwo scores a goal, he pulls up his shirt and he's got a T-shirt underneath it with like Psalm 28 or something like that.
Yeah.
I reckon every time Matt Turner lets in a goal, he should pull up his goalkeeping jersey and there should be a shirt underneath just saying, "I'm sorry." And he should just hold it there like that every time. That
but he's not sorry, Rob, because he laughs. He misses it, and then he walks around laughing, and he's laughing and smiling. Fuck off, Matt Turner.
He should have a resting bitch face.
All right, it's not your turn; it's his turn. Sharp.
Right, yeah, Turner definitely needs to have a resting bitch face. Instead, he looks so happy all the time. It's like he nearly came on against Sheffield United, and he was really excited. I was thinking, sit down and look sad, like the man you are. But anyway, right. So players.
And at one point, Rob, this guy down here, Mr. Ez, was going to buy a goalkeeper shirt, number 1 with Turner on it.
That's a true story. That's a true story. That's a true
You
story.
said you wanted the number one goalkeeper top.
No,
Yeah, you did.
I didn't put my own name on.
I'll go back and find the clip.
Crypto.
I will look
ain't
through
like you.
25,000 hours of FFTV. I'll find the clip.
Crypto. None of my shirts have anybody else's name on the back of them. Just my own, mate. I'm the number one. So
wait, it doesn't say Ez on the
turn
back.
around and have a look, bro.
Say? What
Turn
does
around
it
and have a
actually
look.
say?
All right, what's on the back of your shirt right now, Ez? What's on the back of your shirt?
Wadinia.
Nothing on this one, to be fair.
All right, now it comes out. The
Not a
truth.
true fan.
Anyway, Rob, back to you before this turns into chaos.
I'll speed up, but that's a completely different top three worst to Crypto. Okay, coming in at number 3 is Vlachodimos for being worse than Turner.
No.
Well, you can't say
Literally,
that.
he is worse than Turner.
What an insult to Vlachodimos.
No.
Right, okay. Well, we'll move on. We'll move on.
No, why?
Right,
You can't just chuck a grenade in there. Why?
You said he's worse than Turner.
I've said it before, standing in the goal to try and make saves. He never made a single save, right? He was the man that we needed to rescue us from the worst of Matt Turner. And in the end, we were thinking, like, please come back, Turner, right? You've got to forget that, like, there's like a darker hole at the end of the black hole, and that is Vlachodimos, right? Seriously. He's worse than Matt Turner, right? So I can
guarantee you, Rob, I've never, ever, ever thought in my life, I hope Matt Turner comes back.
I did after watching Vlachodimos play against Blackpool in the cup. Anyway, right, moving on. Coming in at number 2.
I'd rather have player manager.
All right, go on, move on. I'll put a poll there instead of continuing to debate verbally. Who was worse, Turner or Vlack? It's pretty tight. Get your votes in.
So the reason I've not gone for Turner or Vlachodimos in my top 2 spots is that, you know, Vlachodimos only cost 5 million, right? You can see where I'm going with this, right? Biggest disappointment, 35 million. Sangare, right? I am struggling to think of a single good thing he did in the games that he played, right?
He literally played well in the last season. In the last game of the season, he played well.
No,
he literally
didn't actually. He failed to prevent the Burnley goal. They pass it straight across in front of him, and he stretches out his leg, and he's too slow to intercept it. Actually,
that's bollocks. That's absolute bollocks.
We were solid until he came on. Right, so don't try and rescue Sangare by like a 20-minute sub appearance in a game that we were already winning 2-0. Right, come on. No, he did.
Wait, Carl. What's your take on Sangare?
Well, I'm actually going to side with Rob here.
Yes.
Oh, the
I think he's been a massive. Look, this is a bit like the Marilla thing again. I rate Sangare. I do rate Sangare as a player, like pre-Forest. Before he came to us, he was a very good midfielder at PSV. But since he's been with us, he has been average at best, and probably not even average. And there's probably reasons for that as well. The AFCON, and then he got injured when he came back. Before we went to AFCON, he was probably holding back a little bit. But all that to one side, he has been a massive disappointment. And I don't agree that he played well in the last game of the season. He came on, did a whole lot of nothing, to be honest. Now, I do think we should stick with him, give him a pre-season. Then he's got no excuses, keep him fit. Get him in the team. I want to see him in the team. He should be given a chance, but he has been poor. And for the money, very disappointing. But I think there is reasons for it. I think there's factors that go into it.
But you just said, you're not done with him, are you?
When he signed, and I think I remember saying this to you, Wolfie, at the time, he didn't look interested. Didn't look like he was over the moon about the signing. He looked a little bit like, what the fuck's going on with my agent brought me, kind of thing. And unfortunately, that's how it's continued. He doesn't look bothered. But maybe that's just his demeanour. I don't know.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing as well. I'd sell him on July the 1st. You know,
when we signed him.
Why would you sell him July the 1st?
Because if you sell him on June the 30th, it's a PSR loss.
Okay,
so you have to sell him on July the 1st.
All right.
Recoup any money we can.
No, I don't think sell him. I disagree with Rob there. I don't think sell him or get rid of him. I think we persevere with him. He has a pre-season. We get him in the team. and we see how he goes there. But he was poor. He was poor last season. Poor.
I just think, I mean, I'm running out of paper to write your agendas in. Murillo, Sangare now, Carl. Anyone else I've missed off on the agenda list?
I like Murillo.
Not according to the chat, it was 60-40. All right, let's do Rob's number one then.
This chat is very addictive, and I'm getting a lot of hate in there. It's quite good.
Oh, welcome to the dark side, mate.
Just ignore
I feel like I've taken Rob's crown.
Wait till they hear your top three, mate. They're gonna absolutely chat. I want full abuse at Carl. You have my permission when he does his top three in a minute, right? Full abuse, right?
Okay.
Go on, Rob. Give us drum roll, please.
It's already been hinted. Worst was our highest paid player of the season, Origi, 120 grand a week, which confirmed that was the highest salary in the squad, right?
Correct.
I cannot believe that guy allegedly scored a goal in a Champions League final. I mean,
it was brilliant. That goal was brilliant.
What a colossal disappointment. He was tried in a number of different positions, and the thing that he seemed to lack was composure. He had absolutely fuck all composure, which, considering he'd scored the winning goal in a Champions League final, and then it's like you put him in front of the goal over and over again. He was like having Ryan Yates through on goal. He would do.
Why are you bringing Ryan Yates into it?
Ryan Yates has got more finishing ability than Origi. I just felt like the number of times I saw him go through, and you think, right, now he's going to open his account, and he would either drag it across the goal, or he'd slip over, or just blast it over. And I mean, it's only because we didn't have anybody else that we didn't get rid of him in the January window. He should have gone then. I mean, I remember that everyone was expecting him to go then, and Nuno sort of said, look, it's all hands to the pumps here. I've literally got Tyro and Chris Wood both injured, so that he managed to. He's had another half. I mean, how much has he earned in those 5 months? He's pocketed another couple of £1 million. It's sickening. It's sickening. So, and I hope that we learn from that because he was this season's Jesse Lingard. I mean, we'll never hit the heights of, what was he on, 200k a week? We've got to stop doing that. We've got to stop doing that. I must say, I wasn't even that excited when we signed him. I had to actually look him up because he'd been there. He'd been at Milan for a while. He'd not done anything there. And I was thinking, all right, Belgian international. Oh, yeah, former Liverpool. God, he didn't show any of that. I mean, he's one that will go and he'll probably be released by AC Milan and he won't get a club. I think his career is over. Because
it's not. He's going to MLS, mate.
You're going to MLS, yeah, and make millions there.
Yeah. All right, so I'm seeing. Wait, who was your third choice?
Right, Lackademus, Sangare, and Origi are my top three.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how you can say Lackademus in the top three worst Forest player.
Worse than. Okay.
Well, I mean, you said Gayate, who hasn't even played, mate. So you got no leg to stand on.
We'll
do a poll at the end, right? Chat, I'll note down these ones, and then you can say who was closest to being right. Okay, get ready to give him some abuse, because God only knows what this top
He's going to
three
say
were.
Murillo.
You got Murillo at number one. Then who's the second and third worst?
Sangare. Go on.
Me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Murillo number one. Who's second?
No, not Murillo. Look, my top three worst players of the season are probably already covered in what everyone else has said. Probably Turner, number one. Absolute dog shit. Probably one of the worst goalkeepers
ever
I've ever seen.
Should I call him out on that? Should I call you out on that, Carl?
Well, go on. You probably might refresh my memory on the worst goalkeeper. But...
No. I'm just gonna say. Do you remember when in WhatsApp when I reclipped your message about how happy you were with Turner after the Arsenal game and how he looks like a solid?
Look, I flip flop all the time. There was a moment.
That's true.
Everyone's entitled to flip flop, aren't they? Like your opinions change, but like
fair point.
At the time, at that moment, I was like, yeah, it'll be all right. But the mistakes just continued, didn't they? And they were costing us points. Simple as that. You know, he was costing us points. We couldn't carry on with it. So he's up there as one of
You
the
got him
worst.
straight at number one, or is this a reverse order?
I don't even know if I could put it in order. I mean, there's loads, isn't there? But, you know, number one, I would say Sangare.
Fuck off, man.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I'd say Sangare.
As the
Number one.
worst player, or as a
It's disappointment for that amount of money we paid for him. I know, in the scheme of things, as a Premier League transfer, it's not the highest fee. It's a standard
No,
kind of
right.
like Premier League player. It's high for us, but for like other clubs, it's not in the Premier League. It's not particularly high.
Exactly, Anne.
exactly the point there. So is he
Wait,
your
yeah,
worst
should we
player or the biggest
establish a point of
Yeah.
order here? Are we saying
Worst,
worst
not
Forest
disappointing.
player or most
player? Carl
disappointing?
saying that.
I'm saying disappointing.
And worst for me.
That's not the question.
Oh, Rob.
Yeah, but
I'm going to worst disappointing. Same thing for me. Same thing.
all right, fine. All right, fine.
Okay.
But just because I'm saying Sangare is the worst stroke most disappointing player last season, that doesn't mean he's not a good player. He's still a good player, and he's still got the chance to be a better player next season. It's just, for me, he was one of the worst, if not the worst, / most disappointing players of last season.
All being well in terms of him
we all thought he was going to be the answer in midfield. That
Agreed.
Carl, what are you saying? Are you going to start? You starting with him next season?
Yes.
It can't be the worst. If it is the worst, they'd be gone.
So you're putting
Yes.
your worst, most disappointing player in match 1, game week
Yes.
1, next.
Yes.
Make that make sense.
Yes.
How?
There's a good player there. There is a good player there, but we haven't.
You said he was the
seen it yet.
worst player. I'm so confused.
Worst player last season. That doesn't mean this is back to the Murillo thing. Just because I said
no.
Murillo wasn't the player of the season for me doesn't mean he's not a brilliant player. It's the same with Sangare. He was one of the most disappointing players last season, but he is a good player. There is a good player in there. We can't just write him off, can we? You can't just. We do that all the time at this club. We just write players off.
Yeah, but if they're that bad, surely you write them off.
You cannot write him off when he costs.
No, I'm not saying I wouldn't write Sangare off, but I wouldn't put him in the top 3
Sell him
worst.
before he loses more value.
Wait, hold on. I figured this out. Carl's worried that his millions of followers on Twitter are clipping him right now. And he's got to put in the little, the asterisks at the end to say, I said I'd start him even, because when Sangare comes good next year, this is where you're going to this, Carl, isn't it? You're covering your back for next season when Sangare performs and you'll be like, yeah, I said start him.
Or this from Eddie.
Carl from Sheffield.
So what's your third one, Carl? Don't say Murillo.
It was his first.
It's not Murillo. Joe Worrell.
Oh, that is so out of left field. Oh, explain.
I mean, it's just been proven that in the Premiership he just can't do it. He hasn't got. He doesn't read the game quick enough in the Premier League. He's not fast enough to recover from his poor reading of the game. He's not even a good header of the ball. Yes, he's from Nottingham and he's Mr. Nottingham Forest, but
he's a Liverpool
fan. I don't hate the guy. I just think now, Wolfie, you'll know this. I was a fan of Worrell. I won't, like last season, I was like, stick with him, it'll come good. But
clearly not anymore, mate.
He hasn't come good. Yeah, and I will admit that he's not good enough. He is not good enough for the Premier League. He needs to take a step down to the Championship at Sheffield United or wherever,
Agree.
and start again. He's just not being good enough. He was terrible at the start of the season, and I don't think there's a Premier League player in there. Whereas I do think there's a Premier League player in Sangare. He just needs a pre-season and a chance to work with Nuno. Whereas he came in, didn't really hit it off with Cooper, and then he was holding back till he was going to AFCON. Then he got injured. It's not been the same. So I feel like there's reasons for him being so poor there's still a good player in there. Whereas I don't see a Premier League player in Joe Worrell.
Okay, but you're contradicting yourself.
Why?
Because you've said you don't see it in Worrell, but you see it in Sangare. Worrell's your number 3 and Sangare is your number 1. Just like chat. Come on, what are we saying here? Like the contradictions, man. Surely Worrell should be then top. You're saying he's not Premier League enough.
3 in any order. They're all in the same order for me. They're all 1.
They're all 1. Okay. I mean, I gotta say, I can't argue with the Worrell one. I can't. Would anyone argue with the Worrell one? Rob, you're a bit of a
I'd argue with the Worrell one.
Worrell had 1 good game against
Chelsea.
Whereas Sangare has had 0 good games.
Newcastle.
No, go and find the clips.
Second half, Newcastle. He was
all right, half a good game. Half of 1 good game.
First 25 minutes against Burnley.
Okay, let me just...
through balls. Nothing to do with bloody Sangare.
Worrell was club captain. Rob, Worrell was club captain.
Mm.
What did he do with that mantle? He caused more disrespect. Don't forget,
he
there was
spent it all on chewing gum.
He got banished.
He got
banished.
He snaked everyone out.
Don't
Yeah,
forget,
And to prove it, he's going to go to Sheffield. Can you get any more disrespectful than going to Sheffield after Forest?
Derby.
Hey, if we make a profit on him going to Sheffield, then we should forgive
well,
him.
It's a profit, isn't it? As
In that sense, Rob, we should then sell Ryan Yates as well, because he'd be pure profit.
Who's going to buy him? But if Worrell going to Sheffield keeps us inside PSR, then Worrell's been worth potentially 6 to 10 points next season.
Trust me, Worrell is not enough to save us on PSR. We have a video coming on that soon. We're crunching the maths, and believe me, you might not want to watch the video. It's not as as easy as we're going to be in trouble, I think. Okay, I am not deluded about Sangare. 1, I haven't said my top 3, right? Secondly, I don't have agendas like Carl does, right? You never saw me last season cuss down Chris Wood or say, you know,
oh, come on.
I said next season.
Mute him. That's utter.
I've got receipts. I said, give him next season. In fact, all right. I'll be honest now.
One's just mentioned in the chat another disappointing player, Nia Karte.
No, that's just
another agenda. He came good.
Another really disappointing.
My Muslim brother came good, man. Don't be dissing my
man. That's what you got him in there, Carl. Disappointed.
I'd put him in that bracket of
honorable mentions kind of thing.
Dishonorable mentions.
Dishonorable mentions. All right, look, okay. I may have told a slight fib about Chris Wood there. All right, okay. Let me retract my statement and correct my statement. I said when Nuno came in, and I know this because it's on the Nuno Arrives video, that Chris Wood would be the better striker in a Nuno formation than Taiwo. Okay, and chat, I swear to God, if I
no way, go back and look. I will clip it if I have to. There was a stream where we said, right, Nuno's first game. I was the only one that said he should start Wood,
liar.
And the other 3 of you said start Origi. Start Origi. You really
no
did.
one said start Origi.
Yes, we did.
I've never said start Origi in my life.
Oh my God.
Wolfie, you definitely hated Wood at one point.
You're a liar. You can't come on your debut performance and start slinging mud, man.
Because you know what?
Why do you think?
The reality is, most of us did.
Yeah, the only person shout out was Simon J.
He was loyal. Yeah, he was loyal to Chris Wood. No, but I'm gonna say it, and if I need to, I can get Crypto to clip it because Crypto's really good at clipping stuff. When Nuno came in, I said play Wood because he suits his style. Okay. Yeah, I did call Wood shit last year, and I was right to. I'm sorry, I was right to. He was crap. There's no 2 ways about it. Okay, let's do Ez's 3 worst.
And by the way, everyone, I'm making notes for the poll so people can remember.
Yeah, good. Okay, we've got hold on, we've got 600 across the platforms watching, but 181 likes. Make sure you hit that like button. We're only 19 away from 18,900 subscribers. subscribe if you're new, because like 38% of you lazy gits right now in the chat that are watching can't be asked to press a free button that's sitting somewhere under Rob, I think, on your screen. All you gotta do is press that. And then the other thing you need to do is open up the description underneath and click on that thing that says I have a Murillo agenda, and that has the link to Carl's Twitter. Make sure you go and give him a follow on Twitter there, as I'm getting some WhatsApp messages later on about Murillo. I can see it in his eyes. Quick shout out to Sai. Can we have a tumbleweed for Origi, please? Well, let's see if he's on Ez's list for the top 3. Thank you so much for the £2, Sai. Nick Clark, my boy Nick, with the $2.99. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And shout out to Logan as well. His boy has been sick. Logan, massive shout out to you. Hope you're feeling a lot better. Vic with the 19 months. Vic coming up to the 2 years. Thank you for your membership, Vic. And let's get over to Ez. Oh, we've got to do that. Least favorite panelist of the season. We'll do that with the poll as well. All right, go on, Ez.
Well, I'm going to try and put them in some order. Without doubt, it has to be Turner has to have been the worst because of the points he cost us.
Are you doing a reverse order or a 1 to 3?
No, worst first. Yeah, and I'll go for worst first.
Spunking your load off the bat. Go for it. Yeah.
Straight in. He cost us points. He made the whole fan base nervous. We put us all on edge. Every game he played, every time the ball went back to him, he absolutely destroyed us. So he was without doubt the worst player. Number 2 and 3 can go either way, but I've got to put Origi in number 2 for me because of how much he cost. Absolutely flattered to deceive.
It cost nothing.
Who was the other striker we were linked with? Who was the other striker we were linked with in that window? He's
Batshuayi, who I said get over him, and I got abused for it. Did I not say get Batshuayi?
No, you absolutely did.
Thank
and
you.
at the time, I agreed with you, but I wasn't disappointed with Origi because I thought, right, we've got a player who's got some Premier League pedigree. Like Rob said, he did fuck all at Milan, but he has got a track record, certainly as a superstar, which is how I expected us to play him in the Premier League. But he absolutely flattered to deceive and was on a high wage. Should have got rid of him in January, like Rob said. We didn't. We held on to him because we needed backup. But it was a bad decision financially because he gave us nothing on the pitch. And number 3, I've got to say Vlachodimos because he had the perfect opportunity.
Racist.
He had the perfect opportunity to nail himself down as number 1 in the Premier League. Yeah, his competition was Turner, and he couldn't keep Turner out. You know, and he couldn't keep Turner out. One of the worst signings as well. Absolutely appalling. But Worrell's got to be in there for how divisive.
Hang on a sec, you can't have 4.
I think
I'm
you're
going to
right.
slip Worrell in because you guys mentioned him. But I'm going to slip him in.
You can't fit Worrell in. Yeah, no, I've got it down as black.
I'm going to give reasons, mate. Look how divisive he was. Remember the chat that was overheard in Larwood, and this was during Cooper's reign. Allegedly, during Cooper's reign. Then he spat. I think it was after the Luton game, or was it the Liverpool game? But my new game. The spat that he had behind the scenes. I think I'm frozen. The spat he had behind the scenes. All that caused division, and he was supposed to be our club captain. So you got to put Joe Worrell in there. I'm not leaving Joe out of it.
Agenda.
I think he needs to be included.
I can't believe
if you want to include him, Ez, take out one of the other 3. You can't have 4.
Well,
I can't believe none of you have said Ryan Yates after all the hatred you've given him this season.
No,
that's just you.
Hates that Yates.
Go on then, Wolf.
Okay, if I'm going to flip him, I'm flipping for Black, then.
No, it's too late. Black's already in there. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Wait, you changing it for Black?
Yeah. If you're going to make me only pick 3, I'm going to go Turner number 1, Origi number 2, and Worrell number 3.
Right. I'll change it.
I feel like Black's a bit harsh.
It is, isn't it? He didn't
Yeah, I feel like Black's
what did he do? He had my argument was
top
he had
3 worst players. How is Vlachodimos top 3 worst players?
How's Chekiate?
Worse than Turner.
Chekiate is crap. So is Alex Martin.
Listen, he could have taken open Turner.
Martin.
He couldn't keep Turner out of the team. That's how bad he was.
He wasn't put in the team. He wasn't put in the team.
It was awful, mate.
Let's just do a quick recap, okay? Just so the chat can...
I've got them written down.
All right, go on. Give us a quick recap.
Right. The recap is, so worst 3 players. Mine was Turner, Czech Quixote, and Ryan Yates. Shout out Ryan Yates. Rob's was Vlak, Sangare, and Origi. Carl's was Turner, Sangare, and Worrell. And Ayres was Turner, Origi, and Vlak, and Worrell. So,
Well, no, I said Worrell, didn't I? You made me choose
well, he said
one.
Black first. So Turner, Origi. I've put it down as Worrell, also known as Vlachodimos.
Okay, it's Worrell.
For artist formerly known as
Worrell, formerly known as Vlak.
All right, okay. So my top three. Oh, this is tough, man. I would probably say the worst player by a country mile was Turner. I don't think anyone can argue that. He is so shit, man. He is, and I know what you're saying about Sharky when he did that coffee break thing with the rest of the guys. I still didn't feel sorry for him, to be honest. Because I'm there thinking, yeah, I'm sorry, but I didn't. He's earning like 40 grand a week or something, and he wants me to feel sorry for him being shit. I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And it's like he has 2 phones, man. Who has 2 phones? So anyway, so he's number 1 for me. Go on, Carl.
He's got 2 phones.
I've got 2 phones.
You got 2 phones. I mean, yeah, you do look a bit like Turner, to be honest. No, does it? No, not really. Everyone's saying you look like Rob's younger brother in the chat. Chat, would you agree with that? I don't quite see it, but there's a bit of that going in the chat. Does Carl look like Rob's younger brother? Let us know. Let us know if you agree with that. We can do a poll on it.
How old are you, Rob?
Who's most offended?
Older than you.
How old though?
Ooh,
Oh, we don't discuss that on this channel.
No, we
do
do.
we?
What does it
I'll
start
put
with?
it in the private chat. I'll put it in the private chat.
Put it in the private chat. You're 61.
Whoa!
No!
Fucking hell, you're well old. When
look,
do you get a
you're
bus pass?
only the age. You're
get free bus
500
pass.
years old.
What have you started, Carl? What have you started?
Well, come on, you're going to put your age in there now.
22. I'll be 23 in November, mate. Anyway, right? Matt Turner, number 1, right? And then you could almost like skip a few numbers and go down to like number 4 before you get to the next player for me. I'm gonna put Tavares in at number 2. Even though one I didn't want him. Yeah, there is an agenda. I didn't want him, right? And he French kisses dogs, allegedly. I mean, that in itself is enough.
I mean, it wasn't allegedly. I saw the evidence. That was
allegedly about that, yeah.
Tavares won a bad player this season.
But he's just nasty.
He was good with Callum Hudson-Odoi, though.
We actually missed him.
Yeah, when he was linking up with Cho.
I agree. He showed potential to link with Callum Hudson-Odoi.
So
right?
how is he up there in your worst players?
Because that dog thing was one of the most.
Yeah, that dog thing was disgusting, man. Like,
It
did
was
you see it?
disgusting, absolutely, but that's got nothing to do with his
Man,
play.
he was Frenching them, man. I'm sorry. I know he's like, come on, man.
He was Frenching a French bulldog. It was disgusting.
Okay.
Nah, and yeah, and
Okay,
I had
so
him.
for off the field reasons, then you can have him in.
Yeah, so I mean, you can't
Yeah.
argue with my
You can have him in.
thing there.
Yeah.
And number 3 worst player.
Say Matt
Shit, I
Turner
forgot
again.
more.
Say Matt Turner again.
I forgot.
Mangala. No, I'm joking.
No.
I'm joking.
The crab.
I'm joking. I would say it would have to be.
Ryan Yates.
You know what? Disappointing. Reina.
He was
Because I think
disappointing.
he's a good player. I really think he didn't get enough game time. But the few cameos he did, the only decent one I thought was when he played in the 10 and Morgan Gibbs-White in the 8. I'm going to put Reina up there as number 3 for us.
Corner against Wolves, was it?
Yeah, that corner was good though, because Morgan Gibbs-White didn't take it. Yeah. I'm gonna put Reina. Oh, Montiel's now Montiel thought was alright. I think he gets a lot of hate. I thought he was decent. I thought he was decent.
He really well with Dominguez.
It was inconsistent, but he wasn't the worst.
Yeah, they'd have got green chem links on FIFA, so you can't put them. You can't put them.
Are you locking in that answer? I'm going to post it in the chat as a reminder.
Gone. But it doesn't matter. I can only put 4 in.
Are we having
It's been posted. Oh, what? It cut off. There's a limit on the word count.
All right,
Obviously,
so
the last
who
one was,
is right? Okay, so you've got Crypto's one.
I'll remind everyone why you're doing it. So Crypto was Turner, Kyoto, Yates as the worst players. Rob, for some reason, was Black, and then Sangare, Origi. Carl was Turner, Sangare, Worrell. Ez was Turner, Origi, Vlack, Worrell, and the rest of the squad. And Wolfie was Turner, Tavares, and the last one's been cut out.
It doesn't matter because I can only put 4 in, so I'm right anyway. So it's it's between those 4. Okay, quick shout out the super chats, and let's go on to the final topic. Sharky with the £2, you heartless lot. They all bleed red.
Turner doesn't.
No for me. Nikki with the 10 months. Looking good, Nikki. Oh, look at Ziggy, man. Ziggy is looking hot in that picture, Nikki. Ziggy, we still gotta go out to dinner. Okay. Let's talk about Nuno to finish off with. Carl, where are you on Nuno? We've had many debates over the season. Now that the report card is in, are you Nuno in? Are you Nuno out? Are you gonna sit on a fence? Where are you with Nuno here?
So with Nuno, I mean, I was actually excited when Nuno came in because I thought we was going to get at least Wolves in their prime Nuno or the Saudi new 4-2-3-1 Nuno. And we kind of did at the start. We against Bournemouth, we were unlucky to lose that, I thought. And then we had the 2 really good games against Newcastle and Man United. And then it went to shit a little bit, and he started just really poor in-game management, and some of his choices were a little bit dubious. Doing that thing that Forest managers do where they always play Ryan Yates, and it was a bit annoying. He's not very good. And there was points where when he was making the really bad in-game decisions where to be honest, I was getting close to Nuno out. Ooh. It's not working. Ooh. But we've stayed up, and Nuno did have a lot going against him as well. The 4 points deducted, AFCON, he lost a lot of players. I think it was a bit of a unusual situation for him, and I don't think we actually saw the team Nuno wants to play and the style Nuno wants to play. I think it was more a case of he needed to get us over the line. So I would have been happy if Nuno went, but I'm happy Nuno is it confirmed he's staying? Did you personally?
We don't know yet. We don't know. It's still up in the air.
I would, if Nuno went, I'd be like, fine. He kept us up. He's going his own way. We'll move on to someone else. But if he's staying, I think give him a pre-season, give him a chance to bring some players in and get some players out. I would be fully behind him staying and having a good run at it, having a pre-season and seeing what the real Nuno team can be. If we start the season with Ryan Yates in midfield, then I'll probably be instantly Nuno out straight away, to be honest.
Carl, you sound like you're sitting on the fence, to be honest, mate. You said if he goes, you're okay with it. If he stays, you're okay with it. That's pretty much definition of fence sitting, isn't it, boys? Chat, is he fence sitting?
No.
So what are you claiming
here?
It is. That's Ant style, man. That's something Ant would say, man.
What do you want from this manager? What do you want from Nuno going into next season or longer term?
If you want Nuno.
If you want Nuno,
I'm happy for Nuno. I'm happy for Nuno to stay. If he stays and gets a pre-season, gets to bring some players in, and let's be honest, we need to bring a few players in. Some people think it's we just need to bring 1 or 2 or 3 players in. We don't. We need to ship a load out, and we need to bring half a dozen players in, maybe more.
I agree.
Because I know Wes said, you'd be happy with a back 4 on 2 centre backs of Andy O and Murillo, but I think we need to bring a centre back in, an experienced centre back because we can't. Bolly's great. I love Bolly, and I think if he plays, it's great. But we know that you're not going to get more than 6-7 games out of him. Then he's going to be injured for 3 months. So we need a centre back. We need a new midfield.
Yes,
the midfield is not working. We're not controlling games. I want Sangare to come good, but as it stands, we don't know whether he will. So, and Ryan Yates is not the answer. Yes, Ryan Yates is good enough to get us just above, the survival line, and that's been proven. He's that level, but he isn't good enough to kick us on to the next level. So, and to be honest, Danilo.
But going back to Nuno, did Nuno do enough in terms of gameplay and his managerial decisions during matches for you to be solid with him starting the season? Because I can't sit on the fence with a manager. I'm going to give him the back end, the 100%, because you got to spend, like you've just said, we've got a lot of business to do this summer. Players in, players out. Do you trust Nuno with that mantle? Because if you don't, then we got to look at the whole different picture, a whole new manager and a whole new system. Did he do enough for you?
If it was down to, so are we saying it's my decision whether we keep Nuno or not?
Yeah, you got to make a decision. No fence sitting.
You can if you want. Ow!
No, we need a fence.
Oh, breaking news!
If it was my decision, if it was my decision, I would let him go and bring someone else in. But
that's what we want.
That doesn't mean that I wouldn't support him if he was kept and given a chance for a pre-season bring players in. I would, as a fan, back him. But if it was up to me, if I was the owner, if I was Marinakis, I would probably let him go and bring a more progressive manager in whose game is more based on possession, so we can actually manage games better.
Breaking news.
If it was down to me, I would get rid of him.
It's down to you. It's your decision.
Carl has a Nuno agenda. Add to the list.
Add to the list.
I get what you're saying.
That doesn't mean I won't support him if he's kept as a manager. Unless, and my caveat to that is if he starts with Ryan Yates, first game of the season.
Yeah, but Carl, if we haven't hired any new midfielders, he may not have a choice. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, well then he's doomed if that's the case, because we do need a new midfield.
I agree with you there.
Is that your key? We asked this question a couple of weeks ago, actually. So just quickly, what is the key position? Because Wolfie said midfield. You say midfield as well. Okay.
I think midfield. Yeah, they protect the defense and they help the transition and they help in attack. They're pivotal. It's the main part. If you look at how many times, like even the shit teams in the Premiership just walked through our midfield. It was embarrassing. We just like Luton would just and Everton would just literally go through our midfield like a hot knife through butter. Danilo is not a tackling midfielder. Ryan Yates is, but he gives away a lot of fouls. Falls over a lot and then pulls a stupid face. Rugby tackles people. He's not. He hasn't got a football brain. We need our biggest player. We need to bring in, or two. We need to bring an experienced centre back in that's like Bolly but with pace, and we need to bring a midfielder in that's like more of a captain, a leader, an organizer, got a brain about him, and can control a game and help manage a game out.
See, I think we've got that player. Dominguez is that player. He is that player. He just is. He's had injury problems, obviously. There's times when he's not been favoured. We saw Cooper drop him after making one mistake. Dropped him for the second half, didn't he? So he has been. I think he's been the scapegoat more than he should have been in certain games. But I think we've got those players. I don't see midfield as a key priority because I see.
You're an idiot.
I remember so. But let me just give my bit. Because I remember so many games this season where we created amazing chances. And the most important thing is we weren't putting them away. Yes, I agree. At times we are easy to break through. But I also look back at games against the likes of Man City, against Arsenal, Liverpool, the most technical teams. And they didn't break through us, didn't get through our midfield easily. Yes, at times we weren't dominating those games. But for me, it's striker. We need a striker. We need a striker that can stay fit for the whole season. And then you got backup like a Awoniyi and Wood, but striker's a position for me.
Sell Awoniyi.
You'd sell him.
Sell Awoniyi.
I'd sell Awoniyi.
Shit, that's a whole other stream we got to do, man. Yeah, that's a whole other stream. Buy, sell, keep.
You can't get more than a bunch of games out of him a season. I know he's had an operation, but he's still not fit.
All right, we'll do a player stream.
We can't rely on Awoniyi, and we can't even. we can't even rely on Wood. Wood gets injured as well.
Yeah.
We've got 15 goals, but he
So
was
we
out
need a
injured.
striker.
We need to get rid of Wood or a Wanye, preferably a Wanye, and then bring in. I think we need to bring 2 in.
Solanke.
No. I would take Solanke. I think he's a good player.
I wouldn't get him.
We've got no
Wouldn't
chance
get
of
him,
getting him. We've got 0. He's not going to.
And says he's not good enough. And says he's not good enough to wear the Forest shirt.
He is good enough, but we're not going
Yeah, but to be fair, Rob, Ant thought Arsenal were going to win the Premier League.
He did. All right. So, but back to Nuno. So, Carl, you're Nuno out. Rob.
If it was up to me, I'm Nuno out.
It's up to you. Yeah, it's
So
up to you.
I've hardened. I'm now fully Nuno in. Fully Nuno in. So I haven't been asked this since before the Burnley game because I wasn't on the last one. But I said that the result that we get at Burnley was very important, and you were like, "Why? We're safe, etc., etc." But ending on that win like we did, and also just seeing the way the players rallied round him at the end, I think those players enjoy playing for him. I think the nucleus of the side are loyal to him as well. And I think, we've got a lot of problems ahead of us, not least the ones we've got off the pitch. We might get PSR'd again, etc. I think that the very best we can do is keep the manager and keep the core of that team together, right? If the core of that team is Murillo, Gibbs-White, Wood, Hudson-Odoi, Nico Williams, if they owe a debt to Nuno, you need to keep Nuno and you need to try and keep those players. I think the trouble is if Nuno goes, then you could suddenly have a mass exodus of the players as well, right? You could have a mass exodus of the players because think, right, okay, I was willing to stay and play for him, but I don't like this new guy. I don't know anything about him. I'm just going to go where my agent tells me to. Now, also, with that win we got at Burnley, forgetting the 4-point deduction, we were actually 10 points clear of Luton at the end. So, did he do the job he was brought in to do? Yes, he did. And, the hand that was dealt to him was so poor as well, right? So I think for me, it was down to that Burnley game. I said I would make my mind up after the Burnley game, and he's got my vote. I'm 100% Nuno in now. We should give him a transfer window, and we need to back him, right? Because everybody looks back and says "Oh, Chris Hughton was the shittest manager we've had."
I look back and see.
But look,
I look back and see text messages from you when we concede goals from corners.
Receipts.
But now you're 100% behind.
It was because I was depressed.
Yeah, but Ez, what you're forgetting is that's when Rob was in his flaccid state. Now he's hardened to him.
I've hardened behind Nuno. My support is toughened up.
You got a better view.
But what I don't want to do is if the owner is not sure about him, then the owner's not going to back him in the transfer market, and that's what slightly worries me. Whereas if somebody else came in, they'd have a war chest.
Do you know what slightly worries me? That Nuno's head's been turned. I think his head has been turned.
He's attracting a lot of attention, isn't he?
Well,
and that's a good thing.
Then his mind's not going to be on our job.
I agree.
It needs to be resolved in the next week, one way or the other. It's it's a domino effect. There's some interesting, sexy names now available. What actually is really interesting is the things are different to how they used to be. Managers used to sign on for 3-4 years at a time. Mm-hmm. You've got people look at Pochettino. He's just done a season at Chelsea. It was getting good at the end, and he just thought, I don't need this shit. I'm going. And managers are coming and going, and you don't get the same sort of tenure out of a manager that you used to do because a lot of them are just coaches now as well. They're coaches. They don't get to spend the money. All they get to do is pick the team and the tactic, right? So I don't know. They're more disposable these days, managers. But I don't know. I like to see continuity.
Oh, fuck me, man. Megson really. Oh God,
awful, man.
Oh, there's so much. Go on, Ez. Are you?
No, yes. I mean, just to carry on from that comment. If Nuno's head has been turned, I'm not interested because I think obviously I agree with the fan base. We don't want to see managerial changes season in, season out. But I think this next appointment is going to be, again, I'm using this word pivotal, but it has to be. We have to be looking for a project manager, somebody who's going to be looking to take us forward for the next 2 or 3 seasons. And if Nuno's head's not in it, ideally it's Nuno, because I did see a lot of things, but I did see a lot of bad things as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't forget David Platt. He was awful.
What twat.
With the money he wasted, by the way. But yeah, with
Shimmer.
Nuno, if we can get the Nuno that developed Wolves and turned them into a really competitive Premier League team, then that's fine. But I think that boat has sailed, and I don't think that's the Nuno we've got. He made a lot of mistakes in game this season for me. His substitutions were poorly timed. He wasn't proactive with most of them, and that's where I think he fell apart. Also, I think he spent too much time trying to appease the fans, and whoever this manager was after Cooper was going to not be given that patience from a certain part of the fan base. And I just think it's one of those that whatever he does, a certain part of the fan base are not going to back Nuno because he's taken over from Cooper. So maybe for that reason alone, we do need to make a change. And if Nuno's head's not in it, if it has been turned, I'm not interested, because we're not going to get the best out of him. And we're not going to get somebody for the next 2 or 3 seasons, which is what we definitely need. So for me, I'm ready to say I'm happy to make the change. I'm not going to sit on the fence.
Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that his head has been turned, though? I don't see that.
I'm saying if there is any evidence, I feel like there is, because how is it not going to be? How many teams has he been linked with now? Not just one, several. And
it was Munich, and then they've taken Company. So what are the other options?
That's just the media, though, isn't it? Twisting it.
I don't see it coming from him.
There's Italian teams in for him. Whatever the case may be, if that is the case, I'm saying that if it is the case, but if he's not going to be the Nuno that Wolves had, then I'm not interested, because that was a progressive manager, and I've seen some signs of it, but not enough. Not enough for me to keep him on for another 2-3 seasons. So there are managers out there available, and we've got to be quick. But there are managers out there available right now.
I'm going to make a prediction. I think Nuno is going to stay. I don't think he'll go, and I'm 100% Nuno in. I think you need to give him a pre-season. Let him bring in the players who he wants to bring in. I know one of the big criticisms this season was his substitutions, but don't forget his options were limited. Taiwo was injured. You know, when he was trying to bring on a right winger as a sub, it pretty much always had to be Origi. We didn't have the best options. So I would.
Rivera on the bench. Never played him.
Yeah, I know, but there's obviously reasons for that. He's only a young lad, you know. He probably wasn't experienced enough for the Premier League. I'd keep him in. I'd let him have a full season. And as I said last stream, if we can start beating the teams around us who on paper are worse, then I think that will be the telltale sign early on in the season as to whether he's going to be good enough or not. But I reckon he's going to stay. I can't see him moving on, to be honest.
Well, I hope you're wrong. Like I said, I don't want him moving on.
I hope I'm wrong.
Carl said I've no problem with him staying on.
You just said you hope I'm wrong.
No,
I said I think he's going to stay, and you said you hope I'm wrong.
Semantics, mate. Semantics. I agree. I think
you got Nuno agenda.
I agree with Ez's stance. If Nuno wants to go or is having doubts, then he needs to go.
Yeah.
But I want him to stay.
Yeah, I don't think he will go.
I'll tell you what the evidence is. If you've been watching our videos, mate.
Come on.
Huh? I'm not on the fence. I'm Nuno in.
Come on.
If Nuno, I'm Nuno in. I'm Nuno in, mate. I'm Nuno in.
Give the reasons, mate. Give the reasons.
I'm Nuno in because I think that he's had a lot of BS this season. And I don't think we've seen the Nuno squad yet, for me. This is, you can call it the Cooper squad, or you can call it the Marinakis Junior squad, or whatever you want to call it, right? It's not been his. He will trim down this squad if he stays. And that's the main reason I'm in. We are too bloated. This squad needs trimming down, and then it needs rebuilding. I agree with what Carl said. We need 6 to 7 players in the summer. A lot of people are saying 2 to 3 here and there. The midfield's not good enough. We need a striker. We need a right winger. Oh man,
winger.
Alanga would have been on my flop list. I forgot about him. He would have been.
No.
Yeah, but he's not the worst
Tavares.
in the season.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm
Look at his
done with him.
returns, man.
Nah.
Okay.
I'm not stat packing him. I'm not. Anyway, so that's why I'm
Okay.
Nuno in, because he will do what we need, reduce the squad, and then hopefully we buy back some players or buy new players that we need. Okay, we've gone 2 hours, boys. Should we call it there? It's been ridiculously long. We've been just chatting away and what
Been a
have
great
you.
show.
It's been a cracking show. I think Carl, he's done. Chat. What do you think? Should we have Carl back? Just some wise
Even with his
in the
attendance?
chat. I think Carl's had a cracking performance, even with his mic messing up a little. But this is live podcasting. So what do you expect? Let's give, I guess, Carl a closing statement here, Carl. So what are you saying, mate? What are you saying? Did you enjoy your? Is this your cherry popping YouTube debut in general?
Yeah, I've never done anything like this before.
No, bless you.
So, you know, I've really
We can
enjoyed
tell,
it.
mate. We can
And,
tell.
You can tell.
I don't understand it because I'm on Teams calls every day at work, like literally all day, every day. So, and I've never had this problem. It's never happened to me before.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you're on a Teams call, do you not just turn your camera off and sit on mute like everybody
mute
else?
yourself.
No,
You sit there for 2 hours, not saying anything.
I have to actually contribute to the calls.
He's important. He's important,
Maybe
Crypto, not like us.
Teams is different. This is some software I've never used before. I don't know what this is. Stream.
Yeah. We'll sort it out for next time, definitely. Yeah.
But
God.
last thing I'd like to say, just on the Forest thing is, these 2 seasons in the Premiership, there's been like first season in, we had the World Cup, didn't we, in the middle of it? So and that was a massive disruption to the campaign. Then in this season, we've also had problems. We've had a change of manager. Next season, this is our chance to have a clean run at it with either a new manager or with Nuno. Bring some players in, ship them out, and have a proper run at it with no disruptions during the season. So there's no excuses. We need to progress next season. It can't be another struggle.
And that's why you're thinking a change.
Why would I have piss on my shelf, Chris? Come on, man. What you said it about a million times. We've ignored it for a reason because it's a stupid comment. Why would I have piss on my shelf?
What I'm sure what you've noticed, Carl, is that chat is very distracting, isn't it? It's very distracting when you're trying to speak and read the chat at the moment. Look, Talking Reds are loving you, man. Here, Carl, got to get PSR sorted. Can't have that distraction.
Look, that's the other big thing we've had this year, haven't we? The points deduction. Last year we had the World Cup. This year we've had the points deduction. We need a season where there's no surprises. There's no stupid World Cup at a random time and random points being deducted. We need a season with none of this silliness, so we can actually have a proper season.
Yeah, but in that sense, we need to keep a manager as well, not change him halfway through.
Well, if we make a change now, then it's fine because that person's got a run, haven't they? They've got the pre-season.
No, I think he'll stay. I'm pretty confident he'll stay.
I don't know. I heard. Okay, do you want a little rumorsville? I have one source on it. You know who you are. Shout out to you. Okay, there is a source telling me that Nuno is gone and that David Moyes is coming in. But I'm not putting it on a video.
Like that, bro.
No, I'm just telling you guys, for those who are still here in the stream, there's over 600 of you here. Make sure you've hit the like button. I'm not buying it, is what I'll say off the bat. And if that's the case, I will tell you now, I am Moyes out before he even takes his first piss or washes his hands with the first bit of cold water in the city ground. He can go do one. That wrinkled up rhino ass face, man. I do not want him near the club.
David Moyes kept Forest up and he wasn't even the Forest manager.
David Moyes calls up not Forest every single interview. Now, I'm not one that gets sensitive about it, but god damn it, it gets annoying.
Yeah, but you know who else did that? And I've heard it all bloody weekend. Gary fucking Barlow. All I can hear is Gary Barlow behind me calling us Notts Forest every half an hour.
No, screw him, man.
All right, but I haven't put on a video. I don't want to believe it. Yeah, I know. I'm dropping that. Look, I'm telling you, right? Before you lot start freaking quoting me and stuff, I'm not. Nor am I joking. Honestly,
Yeah.
I've had someone
who
call
was your
me about
source?
it.
Yeah. Was it Lawless?
It's not Lawless. It's not Lawless. Would literally get wood over it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If it's true and I don't believe it, screw Moyes. Would anyone take Moyes? Would anyone take Moyes?
No, and Mr. M wouldn't take Moyes. What are you talking
No,
about?
it won't be Moyes.
Never.
Why would
what
he go?
would he see in Moyes to want?
Okay, what have you? Look, Moyes was shit at Man United, but he's had 40% plus win rate at Everton and West Ham. He's not dreadful, you know. He's not
But
fucking.
football is
Allardyce.
dreadful.
Football is dreadful.
40% is crap.
Wait, Rob, are you saying you would contemplate it?
I'm saying that. No, I'm just saying that you're talking about him as if he's some kind of Sam Allardyce or something.
He is.
He plays awful football. That's why why would the West Ham
What an
fans
insult
want
to
him
Big
gone?
Sam.
I'm not saying he's a good manager. I think he's an underrated manager, and simply because of what happened at Man U,
He's
and
a
that is a
dinosaur,
graveyard. Man U is a manager graveyard, right? That's all I'm saying, and that's unfortunately tainted everybody's view of the guy. He's not as bad as you say he is. That doesn't mean I like him or I want him as manager.
His football's awful. That's all I'm
Carl, back me up here. He's shit, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's awful. Awful. Yeah. All right, we might get grand results out of him, but it'll be absolutely awful to watch. It's horrible, low block, boring football. Terrible.
Yep.
Absolutely not.
But can you see the argument that he might be a person who could re-establish Forest into that comfy mid-table zone?
The problem is he's not a long-term manager, is he? He's just someone you'd bring in for a bit like Nuno. You'd have him for a couple of seasons, if that, and then
yeah.
he'll go
Say if we get to
stale
January and
and then
Nuno's got us in the relegation zone.
He plays boring football.
Yeah,
He's boring football.
Yeah, we need a manager who plays possession-based football, who's progressive.
Exactly.
We don't want someone like Moyes. He's a dinosaur of football. Football.
So someone on the front foot, get attacking foot, get entertainment back into the Forest games, because half of the games this season have been not just crap, but also not very entertaining to watch. We need some passion. We need some entertainment.
There has been a little bit more entertainment.
Fast flowing possession football.
Nuno has introduced a more attacking style.
He did it at the start, didn't he? When he first came in, his first 3 or 4 games were really, really promising, and then he kind of fell off a bit.
Yeah.
Look, if you like attacking football, would you take
Derby.
Wolfie's doppelganger? Ange Postecoglou. He plays attacking football.
I would take him, man. I would. It was Kevin Keegan.
Hasn't he talked himself out of a job? I mean, the things he said. Well, I don't know. It looked terminal to me.
Well, I think he has. I agree with you. I think he has.
This is what I was talking about. Sexy names, right? So you got De Zerbi and Posh and potentially Postecoglou as well. But I just don't think any of them are looking down our end of the table.
No, Andrew would come. Andrew would come to Forest. He's best mates with Marinakis.
Yeah, Marinakis.
They share like saunas and stuff and jacuzzis. No, seriously. Him, Cooper, and Marinakis a couple of years back were in Greece in Marinakis Garden.
What, sharing saunas?
Oh, okay, I was making that bit up.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, right? That bombshell that I dropped. If it hasn't happened by what is today? Sunday. If it hasn't happened by Tuesday, then the source was wrong. I'm not even confident enough to put it on a video. I'm just telling you lot because you lot, we are one community. And yeah, I don't know why he keeps going about these sexy names, Nikki. I really don't get where Rob's going with it. But anyway, on that bombshell, thank you to the panelists. Massive shout out to Carl. I think he's had a cracking performance.
I want this guy to manage us next season.
Oh, fuck.
Who's that?
Just to think as well,
why is Wolverine in 2 panes at the same time?
No, that is Wolverine. That's Wolverine wearing a suit.
Shut up.
That's from his recent office party.
Warren, thank you for the £2. We think we will be good next season, guys. I hope so. I hope so. Okay, we're way over time. We're way over time. Carl's charging us 45k an hour, and we've now gone into the 3rd hour, so we can't afford that now. So thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Crypto, you can go and fuck off. We'll see you on the video tomorrow. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.